There's a few reasons why this Arkansas matchup with Tennessee could prove to be dangerous. Tennessee hasn't fared well the last 3 meetings. Arkansas sports a strong defense and quarterback. But this go-around, Tennessee's the more complete team, and that could prove to be key. I'm Paige Dower. This is the Field Pass. Yesterday, we talked about the dual threat of Arkansas quarterback Taylen Green and the damage that he can cause through the air and on the ground. But more specifically, the explosive plays that he can create on the ground will definitely test this Tennessee defense. But if you look to their last 2 games and those wins slipping through their fingers, resulting in a pair of losses, has this team's confidence shaken at best. In yesterday's episode, we talked about 2 key plays where Taylen Green had to flee from the pocket before he was ready. Those plays resulting in a pair of turnovers. So the way that their offensive line is performing, the way that Taylen Green has been performing as a result, has their confidence shaken. But don't just take my word for it. Their head coach, Sam Pittman, even noticing that Green isn't playing with the same type of confidence he had when he started the season.
We got a lot of problems. We got a confidence problem. We have a quarterback that's not confident. There's times when he can stand in the pocket that there is one there. There's times when he stays in the pocket and he gets hit.
Now, the Arkansas offensive line, they have several cracks in it. The Aggies exposed that in their last meeting. And until the offensive line is able to hold up for Taylen Green, they're going to be a team that struggles with confidence moving forward.
It takes a little bit of the running thought out of it, but I think to take pressure off of the offensive line and our quarterback, we have to run the ball a little bit more, quick game, get the ball out of his hands so we can build some trust between him and the offensive line, and he's got to get better. The offensive line's got to get better.
Now, despite these cracks that I'm seeing in their offensive line and maybe the lack of confidence that they've been able to play with and how that might continue, what makes them dangerous and what I think deserves more conversation is that despite all of that, they've still been able to find plenty of success. You give them life and they'll hang around the entire game. That's something Tennessee can't do. And something that gives this Arkansas offense life is their running back, Jaquaden Jackson. He's taken 79 carries, 509 yards for 9 touchdowns. Number 22 is somebody that defensive coordinator for Tennessee, Tim Banks, definitely is keeping a close eye on, and for good reason.
Really good player. He's played extremely well. You know, he's got really good short area quickness. I think he's got good balance and body control. So, you know, he's obviously one of the better backs we've seen to date. You know, we're going to have our hands full. But he's definitely got our attention. Yeah, I do know who 22 is.
Now, Tennessee's defense and the way that they've performed up until this point, their timely bye week has them primed for destruction against Arkansas. We looked at Tennessee's last game against Oklahoma, where they had 11 TFLs, a trio of sacks, and not to mention 4 PBUs. We compared that to Arkansas's quarterback and Taylen Green, where he's thrown at least 1 interception in his last 4 games. So when Josh Heupel emphasizes that this defense has to be keyed in on all 3 levels, it's a monumental task, but it's a task that this Tennessee defense shows that they can handle and that they've been able to deliver on up until this point. But where this game might be decided is at the line of scrimmage. Let's go back to that Oklahoma game. Tennessee's defense dominated at the line of scrimmage. They held the Sooners to 36 yards on the ground. More than that, 4 Sooners ended their night in negative yardage. So if Tennessee's able to duplicate that type of performance, dominate the line of scrimmage, that will be the main key in their win over Arkansas.
I think our kids play hard. You know, they really do. You know, that's one thing that we've always preached since we've got here. You know, we want to play hard, play as hard as we possibly can and leave it out on the field. And I think when you play that hard, you know, typically good things happen. So, you know, since day one, we've always tried to play on the other side of the line of scrimmage, whether we're pressuring or whether we're with our front. And you're just kind of seeing the fruits of that.
Now, speaking of Tennessee defense, during their bye week, I took the opportunity to talk to former Tennessee defensive back Derek Furlow and how football has actually helped him find his purpose in life.
And I'm laying on my bunk bed, and I'm working on bending my knee. And I just remember saying, why me, why me, why me? I'm mad, frustrated, because everything was going right. And as I'm sitting there, mad, I heard this silent voice say, I gave you this stage and you're using it for your own purpose, selfish reasons, ambitions, and goals, so I had to take it away from you to get your attention.
How did that moment that you had with God, how did that lead you to Tennessee? How did that change the way that you kind of attacked life?
Man, that's a great question. It made me realize it was bigger than me. Like, I was going after it because I had this dream, but the purpose of the stage, which now is my purpose, as you say, on everything I post, impact, inspire, and empower, that was the real purpose behind the football stage.
Now, when you get the chance, I highly recommend going back and giving that a listen. My conversation with Derek Flo was just so enlightening. There's so much to learn from him and his journey and how he got to this point. If you missed it initially, let this be a chance to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on conversations like that in the future, especially when we capitalize on those bye weeks when it's a little slower here in Tennessee. So we've talked about Arkansas, the cracks in their offense, how stout Tennessee's defense has been playing so far. But the other key piece to this matchup is that Tennessee has not fared well in the last 3 meetings, 2 of those coming in Fayetteville, where Tennessee has lost 3 straight. But their last meeting was in 2020, so recently isn't that recent, especially when you consider that this Tennessee team is wildly different. They are led by a completely different head coach and Josh Heupel. But Arkansas, they're desperate for a win. They've been so close so many times to being also an undefeated team. They're also back home for the first time in several weeks. But this Tennessee team, they're the ones that are undefeated, and they're just as eager to go on the road and get a win.
That's something at the beginning of the week that we really harp on is personnel. And like I said, in this league, you're gonna play against elite personnel every week. So that's probably our main focus initially. And then as we get throughout the week, the scheme becomes more of the focus point. But the personnel is really good. We're playing a really good opponent. We're looking forward to going into a tough environment and competing our butts off.
Coming up on Wednesday, I'll have reports on the Lady Vols and Tennessee basketball team, specifically with Kim Caldwell and how she's implementing her system with this new team. And then for Rick Barnes, how are the transfers adjusting and how different does this make this team look? Then coming up on Friday, Jimmy Himes and I will have one final kind of keys to the game and prediction ahead of the Tennessee-Arkansas game. So again, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on all of this great content coming up here on our YouTube channel and across all of our social media platforms. But for now, thank you all so much for watching. Again, please like, subscribe, engage. Any ideas and feedback would be greatly appreciated when I continue to give you all the content that you guys have been enjoying up until this point. But I will talk to you guys again tomorrow.